it makes him vulnerable. Maggie, on the other hand, is almost done in by her determination. She's so determined to find Herschel. She's so determined to get to where he is that she's pushing herself way too hard to the point where, as you mentioned, she's dehydrated. Her blood sugar is low. She's ready to pass out from lack of sleep. And it almost does her in. She gets overtaken by zombies, by walkers.
A couple of times.
So it was an interesting dynamic for me to see, like, these two main characters are almost done in by their own idiosyncrasies.
Right. Do you feel that by the end of the episode, they have both grown from experiencing going through that kind of emotional journey? Because I feel that Negan's done a level of metamorphosis. I don't know if I'll call it growing, but do you feel like Maggie learned a lesson through all of that?
I do. And as weird as it is for me to say, because of how much I really enjoy the character of Negan, the complexity of Negan, and how I love Maggie as well. It's, again, Maggie and Negan, two of my favorite characters, is the reason why I got into the show. I feel like Maggie's lesson was better than Negan's, because I've been saying Negan's lesson actually confused me by the end of this episode.
Okay.
Because going back to the conversation with Benjamin, I didn't just love the conversation between Negan and Benjamin because of what we learned about Benjamin. I loved what Negan was facing. He was talking about Lucille. He was sharing his experiences about Lucille. And Benjamin saying, like, sounds like you were like a loving husband. He's like, no, I was shit. Like, I was a selfish ass. Like, he's coming to grips with who he's always been. And he has been slowly this entire season. It's what I've been saying, that this has all just been a facade. Negan is coming around to who he is. But then at the end of it, for him to say, I just need to line them up and kill them all. I'm like, okay, so you just realized who you were and why you were the way you were. But now you're going to go back to who you were. Like, that confused me. If you can shine some light on that, I'm all ears.
I'm going to try, and maybe I will pass, maybe I won't, but let's see what happens. So my interpretation of that is, when we consider some of his biggest failures outside of the Lucille of it all, it is how he handled things at the sanctuary. And if you take out the harem and just look at how he tried to protect his people, you could make an argument that though he found glee in bashing in of the brains, it was an effective measure of making sure that his people kept themselves fed and that they were safe. So if you look at it from that lens, and you look at it as Lucille saying to him, like, look, you did some bad shit, but you knew what you had to do, and you showed up when I needed you, and you showed up when it mattered most, and that was the thing that was the most important. Maybe what he's learning is that thing that he said to Maggie back in Walking Dead proper season 11, when he said, what I should have done is I should have lined you up and killed every last one of you that first night. And he's absolutely right, because look at how much loss he had to endure. So if his primary objective is to protect Ginny because he has failed to protect everyone else that he saw today, then unfortunately the world that we're living in and the person he's going up against, which is Bruegel, he is correct that the most effective way to save Ginny and protect Ginny, if that is his main directive, is to line up Bruegel and his men and execute every last one of them.
Okay, I mean, I can see
that's where they went with that.
It does. What I do like about that is that, and I know, because I know a number of people have had issues with Negan going the hero route.
Correct.
And what I do like about this is it kind of sways him away from that, and it makes him the anti-hero.
Nice,
yes.
Jinx.
Yeah. It makes it. Oh, you a coke. It makes him the anti-hero. Yes. It makes him doing bad things, but for good reason. And unlike taking on, like you said, I should have lined them all up. I should have lined you all up and taken you all out. You're right. It would have eliminated a lot of issues. It's similar to how I said, like,
yep, Joel.
The Joel situation where
had he taken out every Firefly, the nurses and everything, and he never would have been caught.
You would have never had this issue.
You're right.
I'm glad you remember that.
No prisoners.
It was. You're right. It's I kind of do. that does make it a little bit more understandable
More
to see that.
palatable to understand how we got to this point. Because I think he also said, why do I keep getting second chances? He knows he is not a good person, and he just accepts that maybe if he can be a bad person for the right reasons, it'll at least work itself out in the grand scale of justice. Like, he knows he's not a good guy, and he's just going to lean into that to protect people, and hopefully that's good enough. Maybe that's where they're going with it.
And you know what? To see this side of Negan return, but for the right reasons rather than the wrong reasons, like making him the anti-hero rather than the villain, I think actually kind of leans more into what I would like to see by the end of this, and that's him as the King of New York.
I agree, and I think it adds a layer of complexity of like, man, sometimes like Savior Negan is the one that needs to get shit done. And because every now and then Rick was Savior Negan when he needed to be. When it was against Terminus, Rick did what needed to be done. He promised a man a machete to the face, and that man got it. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
I mean, and as
jugular out of a claimer.
And as somebody who would become the King of New York City, if that's the way it ever happens, if he becomes the King of New York, that would be, in all honesty, as much as people might disagree with it, that would kind of have to be how in this world the way you have to be. It's like, look, I'm offering you a place to live and a place to, to be where you are and to survive. But if you fuck shit up, I'm going to fuck your shit up.
Yep.
Like, because we're not going to tolerate it.
No.
Like I'll give you, it's sort of like how, Rick and all those people, like with the first question, how many people have you killed? Or the two questions, how many people have you killed? How many walkers have you killed? And it's a good judge of character to determine as to whether or not you're a good person or a bad person.
And no matter what the answer is, like there's no wrong answer depending on the third question, which is why.
Yes. Yeah.
The third question determines what the right answer is for number 1 and number 2.
Yeah. And I mean, to look at the situation for him to say, like, I'm just going to line them all up. I just need to line them all up, for the protection of Ginny and anybody else who's under his command right now. Not necessarily command, but under his watch right now with the Barazzi. Bruegel is bad people.
Yes. 100%
it's not,
yes.
It's not like it's Rick and the rest of the Commonwealth.
Right.
Bruegel is bad people.
Absolutely, yes. And the way that he carries it is just it's bad people. So you do have to kind of do what you got to do to stay alive. By the way, we haven't seen the druids since the church scene. I would just like to point out we have not seen the people with the cloaks since the very first church scene, and I worry that they're all dead.
I don't even remember the druids.
Exactly. There were 3 distinct groups that they brought to the church to show power is power. There was Christos, there was Bruegel, and there was the druids.
Shit.
We haven't seen them since.
I wonder if they're going to come into play in the finale.
The way this show goes, anything is possible. All right. Anything could happen. But yes, I did want to point out that I've been keeping track of my Druidian brothers. All right.
I'm glad you have, because I completely forgot about them.
That's what I'm here for.
Didn't even realize they were there.
So did you know? Here's a fun fact. I did not pay attention to the opening credits of this episode. If I had, I would have obviously seen Hillary Burton Morgan.
Oh, I saw her name.
I did not. So when she showed up, I was like, oh, damn. And then I saw the second time, I'm like, oh, Hillary Burton Ernie's in this. Okay. So I thought that was a wonderful surprise. And I liked how they used both her and Annie to kind of hallucinate with Negan. There was a lot of hallucinating in this episode. I thought a little too much.
Well, what was funny about like seeing Hillary Burton Morgan's what?
Hillary Burton Ernie.
I heard you say Burton Ernie. I was like, did he? In the back of I'm like, did he just say Burton Ernie?
So ever since,
but I didn't question it.
Family Guy called Valerie Bertinelli Valerie Burton Ernie.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, with Hillary Burton Morgan gone, Hillary Burton Ernie.
When you said it, I was like, I think he just said it way too fast, and it sounded like Burton Ernie. Now that you said it, like, okay, now I get it. Right. But no, I saw her name in the credits, and then literally within like 15 seconds of seeing her name, we see her in that flashback.
Yep.
Like he turns to Ginny and he sees Lucille.
Yep.
And I was like, well, that's a quick cameo just for that. And then I completely forgot that she was in the episode because I thought that was it.
Yep.
So when we see like this person grabbing the bag and running through the hospital, I'm like, I'm like, who the hell is this spider person? And then to see Lucille, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting now.
It was good storytelling, I thought. And it was, man, how lucky is this show that Jeffrey Dean Morgan's wife is an extremely accomplished and successful actress that can come in and just blow away a scene when you need her to and just absolutely ace the assignment. Like, holy crap. How awesome is that?
So let's talk about the whole Bellevue thing.
Okay.
Because I really did enjoy the Negan hallucinating Lucille and then hallucinating Annie and then hearing the whistle from Ginny, looking up and seeing, Ginny up there. Like, this is him, more of that, coming to grips with everything he's done and facing the consequences of everything he's done in the past and facing character-wise everything he's done in the past.
It's his Dagobah.
His Dagobah.
Yes.
I know Dagobah's a Star Wars reference.
He's in the cave, man. He has to face all of
Gotcha.
I'm just saying, this is his trial.
This is him facing Vader.
Yes.
But here's my question. How do you think this scene was meant to be interpreted as played out? Because he ends up back in the lobby staring at the same walker that was there. Do you think he actually went up and it went through everything that he went through, going to the pediatric ward, walking through kid zombies that are just standing there, allowing him to walk through them, which I know is something you have questions about.
I surely do.
Or did he never actually make it out of the lobby?
Well, hell.
And that was all and everything was a hallucination.
All right, man. So the second time I watched the episode, I clocked that the walker he needed to get through to get the ventilator was in the lobby. Okay. And then when we go through the episode, so where would the hallucination have started? It would have started when he hit his head, but if he hit his head, he was already on the pediatric wing.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know where the hallucinations and the reality of it all begin.
That's where I'm confused.
You really threw me through a loop with that one because that's such a good ass question.
I don't know where the hallucination started and ended, because you're right. He does hit his head. And I think that after he sees the hallucination with Ginny, I don't think we ever see him touch his head again to see the blood.
No.
He just looks in, he sees the respirator, and he knows that's what he needs. So he takes out that zombie and he gets it out. And he takes it, and that's what he uses. He doesn't get antibiotics. He gets the ventilator for Ginny.
Right.
So that she can breathe through her body fighting this. But I don't know where any of this, I want to say he probably did go through up into the hospital, but the way it's told, I just don't know.
So here's a couple of thoughts I had. And now that you've mentioned all of this, it's blowing my mind a teensy weensy because I don't know how I feel about it, but I thought it was really important to show Negan finding that there was no antibiotics hidden in the third floor. I thought him seeing that it had already been attempted to be raided, he had punched through the doors and just came up empty. I thought it was highly implausible that with the groups that we already met, someone had not figured out where the stash of medicine was after 20 plus years in the ZA. Someone found the stash before now. So I thought it was really important for him to come up empty on that. And then because he's Negan, always find a way to win. Negan Smith always finds a way to win.
But the Barazzi did say people have tried to never come out. And then when you see...
And there weren't enough dead bodies for that to be the case.
That's also true.
I thought it was very, very low on adult walkers for there to have been 20 years of people trying to find this thing and unsuccessful.
I still wouldn't fuck with a room full of kid zombies.
Okay, here's the thing. All right. Who was the guy in Walking Dead proper that was the reason that Carl died? Sadiq, okay? I always like Sadiq's belief and his parents' belief that you have to end a walker's suffering to release the soul. So if that was the case, I don't know. I've always been of the mindset of release the soul. So I would take out that room full of, young Padawans because I'm trying to release them. Let them go into that next stage of whatever they go to. I don't know. So as much as I saw that, like, it's interesting that Negan can't even hurt a turned child. That shows his character, I guess.
Well, I mean, and here's where more of the confusion for this scene comes in for me too. Talking about that is, it would mean that he had, if all of that was actually happening, like he wasn't hallucinating any of that,
right?
It would mean that he had trouble with one kid Walker, but was able to easily maneuver through a full room of them once they were aware of him. Because when he was chasing the person, he was able to just kind of push them out of the way. And I don't think that would have come that easy. But here's where I really am confused with all of it. If he wasn't hallucinating, going through the pediatric ward and getting to the room and finding that the stash wasn't there, he heard the footsteps of the person upstairs. It would mean that while he was going through, he was still partially hallucinating because he heard the footsteps of whoever it was that was going to be taking the stash, that he was going to be chasing.
Partially concussed either way,
and
but yeah.
That's why I'm like, okay, like, I don't know. And maybe that's just it. Maybe that's the explanation. Maybe the concussion is what led to the hallucinations. So it was because of the concussion that he was hearing, like, he was starting to hallucinate at that point, which is why he heard the footsteps above him.
No, I think that's fair. And we've danced around it just like he did in the pediatric ward, but let's just talk about it. In what world does a room full of Zeds not wake up to Negan's existence in there? Are you kidding me? And if you're trying to tell me that the 1 or 2 droplets of blood from the little Zed baby was enough to mask him, like this was episode 2 guts, like horseshit. I think it is extremely, this is where you get me on maybe it was all a dream. I do not believe you can traipse through that room of sleeping with their eyes open Zeds and not wake any of them up. Like, he made too many noises. It was too chaotic. I don't buy it.
Well, not only that, but he was bleeding.
He was bleeding. Like, they are sharks. They're going to be attracted to that. They're going to wake up just because that's what they've always done as far as the canon goes. So you know what, Ben? I have officially decided, is officially my stance. I am accepting your premise that hashtag it was all a dream, because that is the only way I can excuse his tiptoeing through the pediatric ward and still believe in this show's future. So, yep, it was all a dream. You sold me.
That's one of the reasons why I brought this up was where does the hallucination start?
Yep.
Because it was a little too easy for him, like you said, to just casually stroll through a room full of Zeds without them sensing him there while he's inches away from them.
Right.
There's noises above him and he's bleeding.
And bashing in walls to try and find this lost buried Curly's treasure.
Well, that I can kind of write off as in he's in a room, he sealed the room, and then, and that. But
the rest
I don't,
of it.
It was so, like, that to me is why I'm like, I think that was part of the hallucination.
And again, everything he needed was in the lobby.
Yeah.
At the end. But at the same time, are we saying that the hallucination started when he hit his head? Because if so, that's the pediatric ward. And that takes us right back to, it all depends on where the hallucination started for you.
Well, and here's the other thing too. Let's talk about the zombie in the lobby.
Okay.
Would that zombie still have been there that whole time banging on that wall? It was only banging on that window when it saw Negan through the other side. The moment Negan, these walkers have very short attention spans. It's not going to sit there continuously banging on the wall unless it sees something it's trying to go after. So the fact that that walker was still there when he was back in the lobby again, to me means not only did the walker never leave, I don't think Negan ever left the lobby.
Damn. I need to double check what happened to Negan when he first entered the lobby. And before he went up he saw the thing for pediatric ward, and who knows? I don't know. They were both tripping on not a lot of food. So I don't know, but I'm really excited for next week's story about Negan and where it goes from here. Do you think, is Benjamin on Team Negan now? Like, is he
Yeah,
for sure. Okay. Do you think Negan's gone evil? or vicious, like ruthless? Like where's Negan for you?
You kind of changed my mind a little bit about that, and
Okay.
I don't think he's going. I think he'll go vicious, but
Righteous
I'm gonna use a different word.
Ooh.
Negan's gonna go protective.
Oh yes, Papa Bear. Papa Bear's coming home. I like that.
He sent Annie away. He realized he said it himself. He doesn't know why God continues to give him second chances.
Yep.
And he sees Ginny as another second chance. He's going to do everything he can to protect Ginny.
So, all right. Help me talk me through this. So the second chance that he gets with Annie, he actually shuns because he knows he is too toxic to have loved ones nearby because they will be shrapnel. Ginny is not afforded that same option because she is too injured and sick to.
She's incapacitated.
Right. She can't move off of premises. So because of that, he has to castle up and take care of home. So he's able to send Annie away, which is good for her protection, but he's got to castle up and draw in the drawbridge to protect Ginny now.
Well, he says it in that conversation with Benjamin when he says to Benjamin, there are men coming, and they're coming to kill me. They're coming to kill us and everyone. And Benjamin says, well, then we need to go. And he's like, no, we're not going anywhere. He's like, and it's because he can't move Ginny.
Her best chance of surviving is staying right there.
Staying right there, and Negan going Papa Bear, like you said.
And I can't wait to see what that looks like. I can't wait to see how. Let's get into it, but the other side of the coin plays into because
we're going to see shades of old Negan.
We are, and it's interesting because like in the previews, like we finally get the scene that I've been waiting all season for since I saw the first teaser, which is Maggie holding Lucille. I am on my seat's edge because I hope they don't conclude much next week. I hope it just finishes building up the true conflict of season 3 because they did a great job of setting the stage. And if they did all this building just to have it resolved in one episode, like some crappy Marvel TV show, I'm going to be real pissed off. Yeah, I can't bet you Marvel. That happened.
So here's something I think they might be setting up for season 3. And it's something that I feel like should have happened already, but for some reason hasn't. Season 1 was Maggie and Negan working together. Two people who should be against each other are working together. Maggie and Negan in season 2 aren't necessarily working. They're cohesive, but they're not working together. They're on
Sawyer.
They're on 2 separate tracks, and that happen to cross over from time to time, but they're on their own paths.
Yeah, that's a great call.
Season 1, they're on the same path. Season 2, different paths that kind of converge and cross over. Season 3, their paths are coming head to head.
So are they adversaries again?
I think they might be adversaries again in season 3, but
why?
I think it will be a misunderstanding.
That tracks.
I think
Maggie and Negan.
I think it will be Maggie sees the Negan of old, but not realizing why he's being this way.
I challenge that because she's been doing that all season, and every time she does that, she knows, like she's told that she's wrong about it. Like 3 times now, she has assumed the worst of Negan in this series, only to realize, Maggie, you're letting your bias get in the way. It's actually a lot simpler than that. So I think, I don't know. I really appreciated the nuances that they threw out at the end of this episode. Like I said, the first
maybe to be a full-on team up.
I don't know. I don't know what that dynamic can and should look like, but I'm really excited to find out. So, what'd you think of Maggie's journey this week?
I really liked the Maggie and Croat partnership in this episode because
crazy good duo.
Because it, similarly to Benjamin, who Benjamin was just a side character, and then we got so much more of him this episode that made him intriguing. The Croat has always been an intriguing character, but to get like this broken Croat, seeing him this way, I'm really curious. I just have this feeling that he is this broken character now. He's coming to grips with everything. He wants to go home. He's willing to die. Like, I just have this feeling, though, that when he realizes that the Dama is alive, he is going to lose his shit. He is going to feel more betrayed than he has ever felt.
To quote the person he reminds me of in recent television history, fuck the Kingsguard. He reminds me of Sandor Clegane. His story right now and where he's going and how I feel about him. And like, I love Melee to the extent that I don't call him the Croat anymore. He is Melee. Like he is that name.
You are absolutely right. He is a character who I grew so much into this episode because of everything, not just because of the journey that him and Maggie go on, but the emotional stakes behind the journey. When he puts the ladder, when he's getting Maggie to face her fear of heights, to cross that glass bridge. Look, I'm not afraid of heights. I probably still wouldn't have walked across that goddamn bridge.
I wouldn't have looked down. I'll tell you that. I would have sped walk like I was listening to Richard Simmons, man. Like I was sweating to the oldies getting across that thing.
But when he talks to Maggie about the fear of heights, and it's not the heights themselves, it's that compulsion to jump. Like there's so much psychological stuff to it. So much so that when they are finally up in that room and Melee grabs the ashes of his mother and Maggie is standing by the window, you could tell she is fighting that compulsion. It is exactly what he claimed it to be. But the fact that he doesn't grab her, just touches her arm and pulls her back.
Yep.
Like, this is a character who any other episode you could have expected him to full on push her out that window.
Just because they needed another mustache twirling villain. But the nuance they gave him, and to all of the television writers,
it's so fucking good.
Anyone that wanted to know how exactly you pull off decades worth of exposition in 22 minutes of screen time, watch this episode. What we learned about Melee the Croat was everything you need to understand, all the things that you've seen and witnessed leading up to now, even to the extent of his experience at the sanctuary. His mother, that he was willing to risk hide nor hair, that abandoned him when he was 12 years old. Like, dude went through some shit. And then the world fell, and he was abandoned from age 12 and has been looking for someone. He found it in Negan at the sanctuary, but Negan wasn't a Negan worth following. And then he found it with the Dama because she understood how to talk to broken people. Like, dude has just been tossed up, spit up, and thrown out his entire life by the people that he has trusted to lead him in a good direction. That he's just over it, man. He's just, all right, guys, everybody sucks, so I'm out. Like, I'm done. I respect that.
And not only that, but that whole conversation he has with Maggie about how, like, one of these days he's hoping to return to his home and return to his mother and be with her again, only to realize that he had her ashes the whole time. She had already passed. That when he's saying all of these things, he's speaking metaphorically about dying.
Yes. And
to be with his mother, who abandoned him.
I found it so powerful. He couldn't do it to himself. He needed to essentially SBC with Maggie. Like, he needed to suicide by cop from Maggie. Like, he couldn't. And I really respect Maggie for pointing that out. And I think that's a very compelling part of the storytelling, that even at his lowest of lows, even when he has completely given up, he actually hasn't completely given up. He's resigned his fate, but he is not going to pull his own trigger. Like, if it's to be, it's to be, but he's not going to end it. And I think, oh man, I really hope they do good stuff with him. And I swear to God, if they kill him next week, I'm out. I'm not out. I'll keep watching, but I really love the Melee.
It's so amazing. Like, and I know we've talked about how some of the past episodes have been some of the weaker episodes, but this episode, as confused as we may be on some of the things, I think this whole storyline with Maggie and the Croat was some of the best storytelling they've done all season.
Yes. And I also think this is one of those episodes that 8 episodes from now, so the season finale, the start of next season, et cetera, we're going to look back and say, this was a brilliant piece of television. This set up everything that was to come, and here's all the breadcrumbs that they laid as well as answered. Like, this feels like a really interesting linchpin of an episode, and I cannot wait to see how we sprint to the finish from here, because it does feel like maybe they've got 4 seasons in them, and that's okay.
And that's what I think too. I think, again, we talked a little bit about it last week, the rumor that they're going to film seasons 3 and 4 back to back just to wrap up the series. And if after this week's episode, if I'm actually hopeful we get a season 3 announcement now.
Yes, it would be nice, because it would help us. It's interesting because you don't want to say those things too early, because you want to believe everyone is on the board for, possible death. But,
yeah.
But it'd be really nice for us to know that they still have story to tell, and they know that, and they want to. But
well, I think even after this episode, we know they have more story to tell. There's no way they're going to wrap this up in one episode.
Do you think Bruegel survives past next week? Because if the Dama's back, who's the big bad? Oh, should we talk about the fact that that somehow Palpatine returned?
Well, we talked a little bit about that at the beginning of the conversation.
We kind of did, but at the same time, are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, look, we talked a lot about this at the beginning of the conversation.
Right, we did
about
spend more time now that I remember it.
Whose body was it? How did the switch happen? The payoff better be work next week.
It really needs to be worth it.
It's like I don't know.
I do love the character, so I'm happy she's not dead.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I'm intrigued because, again, this is a character who, when we thought she died, we were like, well, okay, I guess they're done with her. Like, that felt unfulfilled, but now we know the reason why. She is somehow still alive. And what makes it even worse is that her and Herschel are together.
Yes, they are. And they
have reunited.
Drinking from the saucer, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So, ugh.
I mean, and that I think was actually really good writing as well, too, to get it to lead into that reveal, because we get Maggie and Herschel reuniting, and Herschel is apologizing for everything that has been done and led up to this point, only for the reason why, for the Dama to reveal to be still alive.
Yes. And I'll be honest, I'm really happy she's still on the board. I love her, and she is psychotic, and this is just going to make her even more unhinged, and I'm here for it. It's like when the governor got an eye patch, and you're like, oh, shit, now things are popping off.
Yeah.
That's the Dama with the burn. She's the governor with an eye patch.
Yeah. It's, there's so much good stuff. As confused as we were about a lot of things, like the Negan hallucinations and things like that, I get the point behind what they were doing.
Yes.
In having him come to grips with everything, with the Maggie and Croat side of things. I get that this was helping Maggie to face fears while giving us a little bit more insight and establishing Croat as more of a sympathetic character.
Yep.
Than what we've already been established and been told to feel about the Croat. And at the same time, I feel like it's setting up a lot of things. It's setting up a return to a part of the old Negan in the finale. It's setting up the mystery of how the hell the Dama survived.
Yep.
And I think there's a potential that we're going to see, I don't know what. I love the fact that it's a complete mystery of what we're going to see from the Croat next episode.
I agree.
Is he going to freak the fuck out that the Dama is still alive? Is he going to whimper and like cower to her when he realizes she survived? Like, how is he going to react to this? That is the biggest mystery to me right now.
I can't wait to find out. And if they try to tell us that the Croat knew this whole time, I will call bullshit. Until
I don't believe it at all.
All right, just making sure. But I can't wait. We've got one episode left for this season. I think I've seen enough on this season to say that no matter what, when we get to the end of it all, we're going to look back on this year and say, wow, they really built some shit, and they really fleshed out some experiences. And yes, the New Babylon thing happened, and we can never forget that Roxana and her crew existed. But I think when we take a step back and look at the lessons we learn from all these little vignettes and all these little one-off communities are going to shape the next 2 years in a way that helps us really understand the story they've been trying to tell. I think this is a great building block year, and I think they're going to stick the landing. I have faith.
Well, and we're not done with New Babylon yet either. If you look at the coming attractions for the finale, they come in spades, man. They're coming in full force as like an army. So apparently at some point it seems like Pearly has probably gone back to the mainland and brought New Babylon back with him.
All right. So Dreamcast, okay? Give me a president for New Babylon. Who would you want to be the new figurehead at the top of the food chain for New Babylon coming into play?
Man.
Dreamcast.
Ross Marquand. It's Aaron.
Oh, it can't be anyone attached to the show. You gotta bring in a newbie.
You know what? I would love to see Offerman join the cast of The Walking Dead at some point.
Oh, I like that.
I mean, Offerman has played the president in other stuff before.
For sure.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he can't do it again. Who else would I like to see maybe come in?
I'm gonna go Odenkirk.
Odenkirk could be fun.
Would be a phenomenal head of New Babylon. He could be smarmy but charming as hell.
Odenkirk could be fun. You know
James
what?
Franco, even though he's poison in Hollywood, he would be interesting.
I'll even go a comedic actor who I know can pull off some dark shit. Rainn Wilson.
Oh no, that would be fun. That would be really fun.
Rainn has played the villain, and if you've ever seen the movie Super,
yes, it's good psychological. Like he's good at what he does.
He can do some dark shit, man. Like he could pull that off.
I like that.
I don't know. That would
be fascinating.
Who's that?
No, Rainn Wilson. He'd be fascinating.
Oh, okay. I thought you said another one.
No, you got me on Dwight. Well played.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good one.
I could see Rainn Wilson coming in and being the president of New Babylon.
This was fun.
That's a good question, though.
I would love to know who you think should be the president of New Babylon. Anyone is on the table, from Tom Cruise to Britney Spears. Whoever you think would be the right fit, let us know. And
I'll even put another one out to the listeners as well in your feedback. Let us know your take on the hallucinations in Bellevue.
Yes. Where did it start? When did it end? What all was it?
Do you think he was really up there? Like, if he was, how did he get through all the kid walkers without them sensing him?
So is your stance he never left the lobby?
I think my stance is he never left the lobby.
Okay. I am going with he got up to the pediatric wing, he hit his head, he went back down. He never went through the walker kids. He never investigated the drugs. He thought he did, but he didn't.
Okay, that's
so. Listen,
so you think you think he still hit his head?
I do think he hit his head.
Okay,
I do because I don't see any other time that he disassociates from the current timeline. That is a good inflection point. That is a definitive head trauma moment that sets up a good Abed rolling the dice, man. Roxanne.
Okay. I'm sorry. If you've never watched Community, you do not get that reference, but that is such a great reference. That is such a great reference. I have, on my personal YouTube page, and believe it or not, it is one of the most viewed videos on my YouTube page. It is a 5-second clip, and there's nothing but Britta going, rocks, and Joel going, no.
Just throughout the entire episode?
Yep.
Fantastic.
It is a 5-second clip, and it has I think over 100,000 views. It is,
I love it,
ridiculous. That's why I laughed at that. If you've seen Community, you get the reference
for sure. One of the greatest TV show episodes of all time.
So looking at my notes, let's see. Most of the stuff we've kind of talked about. We didn't say the Novi Dan Novi Pataktik means new day, new beginning.
Okay.
Which that's the translation, and it is said a number of times. It's actually what the Croat says to Maggie when Maggie goes off on her way.
Right.
He's actually giving her advice of look, go find your son, new day, start over.
Yep.
Find your son and start over. I really, really liked that. Great job seeing Hillary Burton, Ernie.
There it is.
Hillary Burton Morgan again pop up, as well as the actress that plays Annie. Let's see. The Sky Bridge was a butt puckering moment.
It was exactly what you would want it to be. It was delightful. And again, it showed how great the Crow Out was, because he was giving legitimate good advice and then came back with the ladder. Like, at any given time, he could have just abandoned Maggie, and he never did.
Yeah. And the only other thing I'll add from my notes is just the other butt puckering moment too was when Maggie steps on the trap going up the stairs, and you get that big spiked ball that comes down that just barely misses her.
Yep.
And Croat's just like, I told you not to move.
I know. So one of the things I wrote down for the episode was it was really hard to not reach for my phone the first time I was watching it, because there was just a whole lot of not things going on, and I have the ADHD. But what I noticed the second time was how well they captured, again, the sleepwalking when you're so utterly exhausted that you are experiencing life, but it's all just shadows and flashes. And like, I think we've all been driving exhausted at some point, and we have that moment where we know we need to just pull over and like take a quick nap or else we're going to kill someone.
Or it's one of two things happens. We either have that moment where we realize we need to stop, we need to pull over, or we have that snap moment.
Right.
Where
you hit
like
the rumble strips and you're like, oh shit. Okay. All right.
And it wakes you up like instantly. Like you are wide awake at that point.
Yep. And I thought they captured that really, really well. And I thought that the way that the camera work and the direction did a lot of the storytelling without dialogue was at times a little boring, but when you peel it back and you appreciate it for what it was, I think they really, really nailed it. And I loved it. I thought it was a great episode. And now that we've talked about it even more, I liked it even more.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like we talked about the weaker episodes again of this season, and we did kind of have that fear as to what it was going to lead to when it came to the season finale. This episode has me excited for the season finale.
Oh, I can't wait. And honestly, the scenes upcoming, like the stuff that they're building, and Negan saying that he's going to kill, I am so excited to see what happens in the next 1 hour and to share it with all of you.
Yes, 100%. Podcast